What is going on, people? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to start this one with a question for you, and that question is, have you ever competed with someone for £100,000 or dollars? Now you're probably thinking the answer is no, but in actual fact, if you're watching this video, the answer is probably yes. Now let me explain. You see, when you're applying for a role in high finance, i.e. investment banking, asset management, hedge funds, private equity, sales and trading, venture capital, that's essentially what you're doing. You're applying for a 6-figure paycheck. Over time, it's going to be a 7-figure paycheck. And you're competing with others, you're competing with complete strangers to get that 7-figure or 6-figure paycheck. So essentially what you're doing when you're filling in these applications is competing for 100 grand, 200 grand plus. What's interesting is this isn't just at the entry level. The competition is rife throughout your career in high finance, whether you're entering, whether you're in the middle, whether you're at the top. And because the sums are so large, the competition is going to be brutal. You're going to be competing whether it's for you to stay in the game, whether it's for you to climb up the ladder, whether it's for you to get a bigger bonus, whether it's for you to make relationships with the right people inside the firm, or whether it's for you to build relationships with the right people outside the firm. So throughout your journey, throughout your career in the world of high finance, there's going to be competition. And so today I thought it would be useful to tell you what they don't tell you about the competitive nature of working in such an industry. Now, before I say so with that, let's get into today's video. I just want to do a quick plug, exciting news. I'm going to be working on a weekly newsletter, a weekly high finance focused newsletter, one email every week, coming out in the next week or two. So if you're interested in getting that newsletter, getting that weekly email, sign up using the first link in the video description. Now with that, let's get into today's video. All right, I've got 9 reasons why it's extremely tough to survive the brutal competition in high finance. And the first of which is limited resources and opportunities. The high finance industry is fiercely competitive due to limited job openings and the abundance of qualified candidates vying for these positions. So when you are at university and you're applying for internships, you are going to be for every one offer that gets given out at Goldman's or JP Morgan, 2 or 3,000 people get rejected. So there's thousands of applicants per role, and there's very limited opportunity to hand out offers. And so when you've got hundreds of thousands of applications and only a handful of offers being handed out, there's an excess of supply and limited demand. There's an excess of demand and limited supply. As a result, you know, these investment banks can be very picky in who they choose to hire. And so they don't care if they miss out on someone extremely good, because there's going to be 10, 20, 30, 40 other candidates equally as good or better. And so right from the beginning, at the internship level or the spring week level, the competition is intense. There's so many people applying for these roles, only a few get in, and the competition starts there right from the get-go. Now this trend carries on throughout the industry, throughout the career in high finance. Once you join as a full-time analyst, once you're an associate, VP, director, MD, whatever it is, any position at an investment bank, you can guarantee you're not going to be the only person applying to these roles. For each role you apply to, there's going to be hundreds of other people dying to get into these positions. 1, because they pay a lot, and 2, because they're very prestigious types of roles, and 3, because they have great exit opportunities. So throughout the journey of your career in high finance, regardless of where you are in the ladder, there's always going to be excess demand for the positions you apply to, and there's going to be very limited supply. If you compare that with other industries that don't pay as well, that don't have as good exit opportunities, that aren't as prestigious, there's probably, you know, excess supply compared to demand. Excess supply or excess demand? Excess. And so throughout your career in high finance, wherever you are on the corporate ladder, whether you're a junior employee, mid-titled employee, senior employee, there's always going to be a lot more people applying for those positions than there are actual positions available. And so there's always going to be an extremely competitive nature surrounding the application process. So that's the competitive nature before you even get in. Number 2, intense pressure and long working hours. So high finance professionals often work long hours. We know that, right? Under high pressure environments requiring exceptional dedication and stamina to thrive. So once you get in, you know you're not going to do a 9 to 5. You know you're going to be working extremely long hours. And so when you are in an industry where everyone is as bright or brighter than you, working extremely long hours, it really does become a marathon, not a sprint. You've probably heard that phrase. And what I mean by that is you can't just show up one day and do long hours. You need to do long hours for a year, for 2 years, for 3 years. And then you're going to get noticed, and then you might get promoted. If you can't hack it, doing long hours, when I say long hours, get in at 6, 7, 8 a.m., leave the office at 8, 9, 10 p.m. on average, sometimes longer. In summer, it might be shorter. You need to be able to hack that. You need to be able to do that over a prolonged period of time in order to outlast, not necessarily outlast, in order to just keep up with the competition around you. You need to do that for a few years, and then you might get promoted. Once you get promoted, it doesn't end there. The hours are still going to be longer than like a 9-to-5 job, but you're still operating at a competitive high level in a very technical field. And so everyone around you is doing the same thing. And so when do you catch a break? It can be really stressful. It could burn you out. A lot of people burn out. A lot of people have breakdowns. They stress. It gets overwhelming. And so that's another reason why it's extremely competitive, and not everyone survives. And that's why people leave the industry, or people just get sick of it, or people burn out. So that's something to be aware of. Point number 3, we've got continuous learning and adaptability. The competitive nature of high finance demands constant learning, staying up to date with market trends, regulations, and new technologies to remain competitive. Once you enter the industry, if you want to make sure you are as competitive or on par with all your peers, there's all these exams. For example, the CFA, there's the FRM, Financial Risk Manager. CFA is Chartered Financial Analyst. In America, you've got the series exams. All these different exams. In each industry, there's going to be different types of exams. These exams are not easy. Oftentimes, they take 2 or 3 years to do. Each exam typically requires 200 to 300 hours of study outside of work to pass. And then even then, pass rates are only like 30-40%. So it's very tough. Imagine you're doing long hours working in high finance, and then you're going after work to study, or early morning hours before work to study. You won't have time for gym unless you're very good at time management. You won't have time for personal life, personal birthdays, all of that. It's going to be really tough. So that's another factor. There's all these exams. There's all this knowledge that you need to keep up to date with. There's all these constantly changing regulations that you need to keep abreast of in order to stay competitive amongst your peers. All right, number 4, performance-driven culture. High finance is driven by results. And this is why you need to put results on your CV, for example, to show that you can do something and get results. And individuals must consistently deliver strong performance to stand out and advance their careers. So when you enter this field, coasting isn't good enough. You either enter and climb, or you enter, coast, and then leave, or you enter, go downhill, and get kicked out. So it's very competitive because you need to constantly make sure you are outperforming. At the end of each year, everyone gets ranked or rated based on their performance for the previous year. This determines your bonus. This determines whether you get a promotion or not. If you're not in the top 2 quartiles, then it's not good. It's either up or out in this industry. And so you need to constantly be an outperformer. And it's hard to outperform when everyone around you is so good at their job. And so that just instills that competitive nature further. You can kind of see where I'm going with this. Left, right, and center, you're competing. Even if it doesn't feel like you're competing, there's some aspect of competition behind the scenes going on, because at the end of the day, everyone's working, everyone wants a big bonus. Everyone's working, everyone wants a big promotion. Everyone's working, everyone wants to be on the right side of the key people who are the key decision makers that are going to influence positively the outcome or the next steps in your career. And so whether people say it or show it or not, there is an aspect of competition behind the scenes. Don't just go into the industry with your head in the clouds thinking, oh, I'm in, it's easy now. Once you're in, it gets harder. So it's good to kind of be aware of this information before you kind of throw yourself in the deep end. All right, 5, networking and relationship building. Building a robust network and establishing strong relationships with clients, colleagues, and industry professionals is crucial in high finance to access opportunities and stay ahead. So you might think you break in and you start networking with people in your organization, you start networking with people outside of your organization, clients, so on and so forth, and that's easy. It's nice, it's not easy because not everyone is so generous with their time, but say you are networking or building relationships with people in your firm, colleagues, there's there's going to be other people in your cohort or in your class that are trying to get to network with the same people, and they can be quite people go about it the wrong way. They could be quite, some people just want to take. They want to build relationships just to better themselves. And if, let's say you want to reach out to this person, and every other analyst or associate in your class is trying to reach out to this person, how are you going to stand out compared to all these people to build a relationship with this person, especially when this person is a key decision maker in your career, in bonuses, in people who make it to the top? They're very popular at the firm. They're just a good person to know. If everyone's reaching out to them, how are you going to stand out? So there forms a competitive nature around networking, competitive nature around client, or competitive nature around internal relationships. Then you've got clients outside of the firm, your external networks. How are you going to build relationships there when all the analysts and associates like yourself in other firms are trying to reach out to these people? So getting in front of clients is actually very competitive. Clients get reached out by all the investment banks employees, and you're just another investment bank employee trying to reach out to them. How are you going to stand out? What's your competitive advantage? What are you bringing to the table? All these things, when it comes to relationship building, competition plays a role as well. Risk and uncertainty. The competitive nature of high finance comes with inherent risks and uncertainties, requiring individuals to make sound decisions under pressure and navigate unpredictable market conditions. Let's say you're a trader on the trading floor. If you're not taking, obviously you want to take measured risk, but if you're a trader and there's another trader, you both joined at the same time, they're taking more risk. They're a bit, they have more confidence, and they're willing to take a bit more risk in their trades or in the way they work. And as a result, higher risk, higher return. They are reaping more rewards compared to you. And so if you're not willing to take those risks, if you're not willing to take on your role with confidence, you're going to fall behind. They're going to have more confidence. They're going to take more risk. They're going to get ahead because they're making more money for the firm or for their clients. And so you need to be a bit bold. You need to embrace a bit of uncertainty. You need to be willing to take risk. If you don't do that, the competition is going to get ahead. 7, continuous self-improvement. Those in high finance must continuously improve their skills, expand their knowledge, and seek professional development opportunities to keep pace with the rapidly evolving industry. Touched on this briefly earlier in terms of qualifications and certificates, but this is more alluding to the fact that the industry is constantly changing. Things in the markets are always changing. News, geopolitics, the world around us is constantly changing. Are you keeping up to date? When you leave work, when you leave the office, you go home, are you just going to sit on the computer and play games, or are you going to read what's going on in the Asian markets or the European markets, whatever it might be? Are you keeping abreast of the latest news in your specific asset class or area of high finance that you cover? Are you keeping up to date with all the regulations, and just the general, if you want to make it to the top in this industry or in any industry, you kind of need to make it your day and your night. You need to make it your life. If you don't, someone else is, and they're going to get ahead. That's the reality. That's the truth. Otherwise, you can, have a great career, climb, get to a good level, but you will never make it to the top, right to the top. That's what I think anyway. And so that's something to think about. One more point on that is the point on seeking professional development. So are you going to classes or taking part in courses outside of your day-to-day where you are developing leadership skills, developing the ability to kind of mentor people, lead a team, work better with other people? All these self-improvement things tie into being a better leader or senior employee as you climb the corporate ladder. So professional development is very important. How you entered the firm as an analyst is not what's going to get you to the senior positions. You need to grow and develop as an individual, as an employee, as a colleague, as a human being in order to kind of get to the senior levels. Because as you climb, you might work less hours, but you get more decision-making responsibility. So the more senior you get, as an analyst, in the day you might have 20-30 decisions to make, but those 20-30 decisions will not have major consequences. They will be related to like the font on a PowerPoint slide, the data in an Excel spreadsheet. But the more senior you get, the less decisions you make. You might have 2 or 3 decisions each day, but they are key decisions and they hold a lot of weight. They might be pursue this client over this client because this is going to bring us 3 times the amount of revenue. It might be hire or fire this person. you know, the decisions that you make at the senior levels have a lot more weight. So that comes with personal and professional development. All right, next one, second to last one, strong work ethic and resilience. The competitive nature of high finance demands strong work ethic, resilience, and the ability to bounce back from setbacks and challenges. You aren't gonna get far or outcompete. The cat's going mad. Every time I record, the cat decides to meow his head off. Anyway, where was I? Strong work ethic and resilience. Yeah, if you are in this industry, you aren't going to get far if you don't have thick skin. What do I mean by thick skin? You can't basically, you're going to come across tough people. You're going to come across people who are blunt. They say things to your face that you don't like. If you just cry and you can't get over it, you're not going to succeed. You need to develop thick skin. You need to be able to bounce back from setbacks. If you fail, or if you mess up, or if you completely do something wrong, you know, all right, it's going to hurt for a minute, a day or two. You're going to think your reputation, everything is down the drain. But the most successful people, the people that, you know, outlast or survive the brutal competition, are those who can take those learnings and bounce back, take those learnings and develop, show people that, all right, yeah, I messed up, I fully effed up, but I'm going to fix it. I'm going to come back stronger, and I'm going to show you that, you know, there's more to me than letting one small failure determine the outcome of my career, for example. So you need to be resilient. You need to have thick skin. You need to be able to take shit from people in order to compete with everyone else who's in this industry. Last but not least, this one's important: emotional intelligence and interpersonal skills. Now, this is something people don't think about when going into this type of industry. Emotional intelligence, you know, I'm going to work, why should I care about people's emotions? My emotions, how I react, how I manage relationships, and interpersonal skills. As you know, interpersonal skills, communication, dealing with people, these types of things are very important. Successful individuals in high finance must possess strong emotional intelligence, effective communication skills, and the ability to navigate complex relationships and negotiations. And the reason for that is pretty simple. You go to work, you don't work on your own. You're going to meet lots of people from different walks of life. People older than you, people younger than you, people smarter than you, people not as smart as you. People with different political views, people with different world views, people who have different thoughts, people who agree with you, people who disagree with you, people who you like, people who you hate and cannot stand, people who do enjoy small talk, people who hate small talk. Lots of people, lots of walks of life. And so you're going to come across all these people. If you don't know how to get along with people, if you don't know how to read people's emotions, how they're feeling, how they are doing something translates into what they're feeling. If you don't know how to build relationships, if you don't know how to get along with people, in essence, you're going to struggle, because a lot of people enter this industry and they go around pissing everyone off. They don't know how to manage relationships. And if you go around pissing everyone off, even if you're really good at your job, no one's going to vouch for you when it comes to promotion. No one's going to vouch for you to get ahead. So you need to kind of be nice. You don't want to be, they say, nice guys finish last. Because if you're trying to, like, when they say that phrase, I take it as, if you're trying to people please everyone, if you try and please everyone, you're going to end up pleasing no one, because you're trying to do too much and people can see through that. But basically, be nice. Be a genuine human being, be true to yourself, but don't be a dick. If you can have good emotional intelligence and you can have good interpersonal skills, naturally it will help you get ahead, get further, and outlast the competition in this industry. Now, if you made it to this part of the video, show your appreciation by giving it a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments what video you'd like to see on the channel next. Don't forget, first link in the video description down below to get notified when I launch my weekly high finance career focused newsletter. And with that, I will see you in the next video. Peace.